Hey crafters! Today we're making this adorable in the hoop puffer fish stuffy. You can grab the full design and instructions totally free on my Patreon page at Prairie Chic Patterns. It is such an easy design and it is so cute. It requires 2 hoopings and you do need a hoop at least 8 by 12 inches or long or larger. But look how cute this is. It's so soft and it is just so squishy. I just absolutely love it. So it's super cute. So stay tuned and I will show you how to make this. Peek at hoop number 1. This one does look different than other stuffies I have created because it has 2 front fins and a back fin. That means the back piece will be actually cut in half and we will sandwich this piece in the middle, and then we will have this little stitch right here, which is a double stitch that will combine them. And we have to do this first before we do hoop number 2 because this will essentially be the back piece. This is what hoop number 2 looks like. And hoop number 2 is the one that you can personalize and make it your own. So let's just take a peek and see what this is. So first there is the body applique position, and then of course the tack down stitch for the applique. Then you have the applique position for the belly and then the actual applique tack down. After that, you would of course cut around this edge. And then what will happen is we will put down a water-soluble piece of stabilizer before doing the stitch, which is the satin stitch. And then we'll do the fine details. So we have the eyes and the mouth and then the rosy cheeks. If you choose to personalize it, you will put the personalization at this step, after step 7, stitch number 7, after the rosy cheeks. So let me show you what I mean by that. I am going to make this for a girl named Carm. And so I'm going to go type her name like that. And I'm using the Itch to Stitch Ralphie Brown font in 1.25. And then I want to make sure that it is completely in the center. So I'm going to just select that, and it is. And then I'm just going to use my down arrow key to place it where I want it to go. And I want it to go probably about right there. And that looks really cute. And then I'm just going to change the color just to yellow, just so that it is completely different than, well, let me spell yellow correct. There we go, like that. Okay, so again, it is not in the right position. It needs to come after step 7 and before step 8, which is the placement stitches for the 2 fins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click it and just drag it in between. And as you can see now, it says step 7, then it's the letters, and then it goes back to the placement stitches for the fins. After that, it'll be the 2 tack down stitches for the fins, and the very last stitch, which will stitch the back piece to the body, which is, of course, it goes single stitch, bean stitch, single stitch, bean stitch, and it leaves this little opening in here down at the bottom. That way we can close it shut. So I'm going to save this on my jump stick, and then I'm going to take it to my machine and we will start sewing this together. Let's talk fabric for this puffer design, for this stuffy. You only need 2 types of fabric. You need one that is Minky with the little dots. And for the back piece, you will need 2 pieces that are the same. And I have all the dimensions in my direction sheet. And then you will need one for the front. So this is actually the front piece. So this will be on hoop 1 and 2. This one will only be used for hoop 2. So there's that color. Then we also need some pieces for the fins, and we will make the fins on hoop 1, and I'm going to use this color for the fins. And then we will, of course, attach the fins on hoop 2. So hoop 1 is where we make the fins. Hoop 2 is where we'll attach everything. And then we also need a belly piece. And so I'm using the same color as my fins to kind of wrap all the colors together. And this is for hoop 2. So I'm going to put my fabrics to the side for a moment. You will also need a large embroidery frame. So this is an 8 by 12. That is the minimum you need, an 8 by 12 frame. Larger is okay. And you need 2 pieces of Tearaway stabilizer because this is 2 hoopings. So I'm going to first begin with hoop 1, and I'll show you how that's done. Afterwards, I'll rehoop and then show you hoop 2. So let's begin with hoop number 1. The first thing is I'm going to upload the file to my Babylock Spirit. And remember, it is the one that says hoop 1, and it has the 3 fins on the side and the placement stitch to create the back. So I'm going to click embroidery. We just finished our placement stitches, and this placement stitch right here is one of the fins, another fin for the front to the sides, and then this is the back tail fin, and then this is going to help us combine the back piece where we attach this to the 2 back pieces. So what we need to do at this point is grab one of the pieces that, and I should say this, you can cut as you go if you want to save fabric. If you are using my fabric sizes from the directions in the packet that comes with the purchase, it will be extra fabric because I like to play it safe. I always like to have more fabric than less. And so what I'm going to do is right side facing up, I'm going to get the fin fabric going, and I'm using this light blue. This is like a what is it called? It's like a it's a type of fleece, and it is shaggier on this side and then it's smoother on this side. I'll write it below what it is specifically. It is from Joann's Fabric. All right, so I'm gonna take it over to the machine, and I'm just gonna hold it down while it does the tack down stitches for all 3 of the fins. It did the tack down stitches for all 3 of my fins, and now I'm going to change my thread to this color because it's going to do some of those details in the fins, and I kind of I want the blue to stand out. The details have stitched out on all 3 of the fins. Now you're going to grab your second piece that's the same size as this piece, and you are going to have it so the wrong side is facing up, and you're just going to cover it perfectly like this. And I'm going to hold it and take it to the machine, and it's going to do bean stitches around each of the fins, but leaving a gap at the bottom open so we can turn them inside out. Now grab a sharp X-Acto knife, and this is the top of my hoop right now, but I'm going to turn it around like this because I am right-handed, and I'm going to fold this over just like so, and I'm going to grab my X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to cut this out like this. And then I'm going to flip it over here, fold this edge over, and just go about right here. And then I'm going to fold it, turn it around again. So now my top is up again. And fold this over. And I'm actually going to start from the bottom this time. Fold it over and cut it out just like that. So now this piece just came out nice and easily, and I'm gonna put this to the side because we still have one more stitch to do with this hoop. We are now going to get rid of just the exterior stabilizer, Tearaway stabilizer. So I'm just gonna carefully pull it away from the stitches. I'm gonna do it for all 3 pieces. Grab some sharp scissors and separate the 3 fins from each other. This will make it easier for you to cut them apart. And what you're gonna do is, where there is the gap, so there is a gap right here, you are going to do a diagonal cut, like so. Up it, make sure your scissors are straight up and down. Just like that. And then you're just gonna carefully go around each fin. I like to keep my scissors pretty close to the table. Just like so. And I will move the fin instead of my scissors. And you really want to take your time at this step. Make sure you use sharp scissors as well. And once you're done with that, you're going to take the rest of the stabilizer off. And then turn it inside out. If you have a turning tool, you can use that at this point, but it's a 1-inch gap at the bottom. So you should be able to do it just with your fingers. If you have an edge tool though, to get those edges like nice and sharp, I would definitely do that. And then as you can see, I have tons of space down here. I don't need that much space. So I don't need that much excess fabric. So here is the line right here. I would say you probably want a good maybe half an inch below that line. And so I'm just going to eyeball it and then cut it just like that. And then I'm gonna save this for hoop number 2. So I'm put this one to the side. I am gonna do the same thing to this fin and this fin. We are now going to do the final stitch, and the final stitch is going to be right here where it'll go up, or excuse me, it'll go down and then it'll go up. And what we're going to do here is a fabric sandwich basically. So grab one of these pieces right here, and you are going to have it right side facing up, and you are going to basically put it into, line it up with this line and these two top and bottom lines. It's just like that. And then you are going to tape them down so this one does not move. Just like so. You can add extra tape on these ends too, just make sure you don't have it right over there. Grab your back fin and find these 3 lines. This is the top, bottom, and middle line. You want to find the middle as best as possible. And it really doesn't matter if you have this right side up or back side up, because what's going to happen is it's going to be like this once you sew it. However, what does matter is the raw edge, this edge, is out here. And so what I'm going to do is find this little line right here, which is the placement stitch. And I'm just going to make sure that it lines up right there. And it's going to go in about 1/2 inch. So it's going to look just like that. So I just want to make sure that I am matching this line up with the edge here and making sure the middle as well. So kind of like right there. Honestly, it doesn't matter if you're a little off here because it's going to look good either way. And then secure with tape, just like this. And then you can secure it with tape on this side as well, because the line will be about right here. So it'll go like this. Take this piece now, the other one that looks just like this, and put it wrong side up and just match it to the other corner piece, just like so.
You do not have to tape this one down if you don't want to. You can definitely just hold this while it sews. However, if you feel more comfortable with taping it down, go right ahead, just like this. And then maybe one more up here if you want to. It is ready to go to the sewing machine. And since I am sewing a new fabric, I am going to change the thread to this color because it's the thread that matches this as close as possible from what I have in my stash. When you get to the fin, the back fin, you're gonna wanna raise your embroidery foot up. That way it gets over the bulk of that fabric. Remove all of that tape. And then we're gonna remove it also from the hoop because we are done with hoop number 1. And we are just gonna gently tear it right here. It's the second one right here. You might need some scissors just to snip that placement stitch, just like that. And that's how easy it is to remove the Tearaway stabilizer. Just like that. You can see the stitch that is from my placement stitch. There we go. I'm gonna clean up and then I'll show you what it looks like on the other side. We wanna remove some of this bulk. And so what I'm gonna do is just cut a little bit up the seams. Just a little bit. Make sure your scissors are up and down. They will be pretty, it will be pretty thick right here where the fin is. Just, there we go. Just wanna make sure that I'm getting it all, there we go. Okay, let's toss this. And then, when we open it up, there's our fin, and this will become the back piece. We are already on to the second hoop, and so I'm gonna upload that second file right here, and I'm gonna click embroidery. Take your 8x12 hoop, this is our second hooping, and I have Tearaway stabilizer in here already. We are gonna run our very first stitch, which is the placement stitch for the body. All right, placement stitch is done. And so we're gonna grab our exterior body piece, right side facing up, and we are gonna cover these placement stitches. And we're gonna remember to leave extra fabric at the bottom, about that much extra fabric. This will be important in the last step. And I just wanna make sure that I'm covering the top. It's about right here, so that should be more than enough. And of course the sides. I'm just gonna hold this while I take it to the machine to stitch the tack down stitch. After you stitch the tack down stitch for the exterior piece, leave your hoop in the machine and run the next stitch. This will be the placement stitch for the belly. It just did the placement stitch for the belly. Now you are going to grab your belly fabric right side facing up, and you are going to put it over the placement stitches, making sure that you have extra fabric down here for that very last step, which I do. So I'm gonna leave it, not that much, it's a good inch right there. So I'm gonna leave it just like that. And I'm just gonna make sure that it's covering this. So I have about 1/2 inch there and plenty of fabric on both sides. All right, I'm just gonna hold this down while I take it to the machine and do the tack down stitch. The applique for the belly has been tacked down, and of course we have extra fabric here. From about this corner to this corner, do not cut this fabric. Instead, we're just gonna cut all the way from here along this line to this line right here. And I'm gonna use my applique scissors. And just take your time on this because you do want to get close, which is kind of hard to do because you're using so much Minky. And you definitely don't want to cut too much of the, you don't want to cut the stitches either. So just get real close. In fact, I'm going to pause on the camera because I need to get real close and see it with my eyes. And so I'll show you the finished product when I am done. I carefully cut around it, but left the extra fabric at the bottom. Now I'm going to grab some water-soluble stabilizer that's just going to go at the top here, or it's going to cover the whole design. And because I don't want to have to hold it the entire time, I'm going to put tape at the top and the bottom. And I'm going to take it to the machine and run the next stitch. And the next stitch is going to be a satin stitch that goes around the applique right here. And I'm going to change the thread to this color. So I am going to do a thread change. Usually when I do appliques on these plushies or these stuffies, I keep it the same color as the exterior, but I think I'm going to have a little bit more of this color coming out. All right, it's ready to go to the machine. It stitched out so beautiful. And now I'm going to be doing the eyes and the smile, and that I'm going to use black for. Eyes and smile is done. So now it is on to the rosy cheeks, and I'm going to do this, I think I'm going to do this light pink right here. This next step is completely optional and only if you have the machine that is capable to do so, but I am going to personalize it, and this is when your personalization should occur. The hardest part about personalizing is deciding what color to do, and I think, because I'm putting the name Carmen here, I think I'm going to do this blue because I think that will look very nice. I was thinking about doing the pink too, but then I was like, it might be too much pink, so I think I'm going to do this pretty blue. It stitched out so beautiful. Again, the lettering is not included, but here's what we're gonna do. So if you personalized it or didn't personalize it, we're all at the same step again. And we are gonna take off the tearaway, or not, excuse me, the water soluble stabilizer because we do not need that anymore. Just gonna carefully pull it like that. So cute, so soft. Okay. It comes off really easy. There you go, it's beautiful. All right, we're gonna take it to the machine and it's gonna do the placement stitch for the side fins. So it did the 2 placement stitches on the outside of the design, and you are going to grab one of your fins, and this is the right side. We're actually with the right side down, so the side that does not have any details is right here. And then we're gonna move the raw edges to the outside of this stitch because we do not want that to be sewn, or I'm sorry, we want this to be sewn outside of the design. So I'm just gonna kind of like, I'm gonna use this kind of as a guide and just move it right about here. And I'm just gonna put my finger like this and bend it backwards. And if I like it like that, because it's gonna sew, then it's good to go. And I'm just gonna hold it while I take it over there and sew the tack down stitch. I actually decided to do the fins at an angle because I think that would be super cute. So I just kind of readjusted it while it was under here. And I am now going to sew the next stitch. And again, we'll just tack it down. Now it's time to do the other side. And again, I kind of angled it. So I'm gonna try to do my best with eyeballing it. So right side with the details is facing down, raw edges outside of this line. And I'm actually got a ruler right here. If it was my own kids, I probably wouldn't use a ruler and I would just eyeball it. But because I'm giving this to somebody, I was like, I probably should be a little bit better. All right. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna hold it and take it to the machine and stitch down the next stitch. We are ready for our very last stitch. So grab that piece, the back piece that we worked on from the first tube, and line it up like this first, okay? And then be like, do you like where it is? Or do you wanna bring it down just a little bit? Like, I think I wanna bring it down just a little bit. Again, we do have to have enough fabric at the bottom for closing it, and then we do have to, of course, make sure we cover this. If you like the placement, we are going to then take the right side and turn it over like this. And just match it up. Try to keep it as straight as possible. I will take it to the machine and do the last stitch. The last stitch will start from here. It'll do a normal stitch that comes all the way down to here and then stop about right here. Then it'll do a bean stitch that goes up here. And then a normal stitch, normal stitch, normal stitch, normal stitch, normal stitch. Then it'll go back to bean stitch, bean stitch, bean stitch, bean stitch up here. And then it is going to be a gaping hole right here. Now you do want to be careful of these seams, the seam up here, and you're going to want to raise your embroidery foot height when you get to the fins. So take your time on this step. We are all done with the machine, and you can actually remove this from the hoop. Oh, it's firm. There we go. And then we are going to tear away the stabilizer up to the outer stitches, just like before. So we're just going to gently pull it. And then after we do that, we are gonna find the gap. So the gap is right here. We want to have extra fabric for the gap. So what I do is I'm gonna look right here. You can see the gap on the side too because it doesn't have the bright blue. And what we're gonna do, is making sure that this is all together, is cut diagonal up to the gap, like that. Then we're gonna do the other one. And then we're gonna carefully trim around the designs. It will be tough around the fin right here. I like to keep it up and down and of course get real close to the design so you can see it. The closer you get, the less bulky it is. However, it is also imperative that you do not cut any of the stitches. So just take your time on this. Here comes the bulk. You must have sharp scissors. Mine are pretty sharp. However, my daughter was using these for opening up food. And I'm like, girl, these are like $70 scissors. I don't know if you have kids that like to use your stuff. All right, I'm just gonna take it nice and slow. And you don't need this much fabric at the bottom. I just need probably about here, like an inch or so. So So what I'm gonna do is just trim it. Just like that. And also let's take off all of the stabilizer. Should come off pretty easily. Just gently rip it away. Making sure you're getting all these little pieces as well. Now it is the moment of truth where we are going to flip him or her inside out, and there should be more than enough space for you to do so. And I would grab a tool to help push out the edges. Oh, isn't it darling? One moment, let me grab my tool. Make sure you use something blunt. They, of course, you can buy things that do this for you, but I lost mine, so I'm being too stubborn and I'm not buying another one yet. Probably should, because this is kind of stabbing me in the hand. Look how darling that is. What a cute little stuffed puffer fish. And I'm just gonna show you what we do is just fold it like that. Cute, cute, cute. And then here's the tail at the back. It is just absolutely darling. All right, so the next step is to stuff it. It is now time to stuff it, and it takes me a while. It takes a lot of stuffing. I like mine pretty firm. Of course, you get to decide however you want to do yours. I kind of just tear it apart, and then I start to stuff it. In fact, I'm going to make it not super messy, I'm just gonna go like that. All right, you do not want to watch me stuff this because it takes a while, but I will do this and then we'll get on to the last step. I have stuffed it to the max. Now I'm gonna take this hole, and if you're giving this to a baby, I suggest, hand sewing it shut, but I'm giving this to an older little girl, and so I am going to cheat and use fabric glue, which is permanent. So what I'm gonna do is fold it over just like this, and then fold both edges over so the raw edges are inside. And I'm gonna line it up straight, just like that. I even do a little bit more. Just wanna make sure, there we go. And then I'm gonna take some of these Wonder Clips to help me keep it shut like that. And then I'm gonna take the glue outside because I don't like the smell of it. But I will take one Wonder Clip off at a time and glue it shut, and then put the Wonder Clip back on, like what I do with my bags. All right, I'm gonna take it outside and get this shut. Super cute. All right, I have glued it shut, and I waited for about, I don't know, probably should have waited a little longer actually, to be honest. But I was ready to see the results. There she is. So make sure that's closed all the way. It looks like it. All right, she is so cute. Oh my goodness, she is just darling. Look at that cute little fin in the back and the two side fins. I mean, this was great. I'm just gonna squish her a little bit to even out the squishies. She is super squishy too. She's great and she's soft.
Thanks for watching. This design is free on my Patreon. Check the link below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more creative fun.